what made the difference for me at that time was the mindset. The numbers are way too big, right? I was buying a condo that was $15,000, which, I had sitting on my savings. Multifamily, we're talking about 2 million.
Welcome back to The Real Grind. And if you're listening, I will say this, but look, if you're listening in the car, don't get into an accident, because today I was listening from a friend of mine. He was like, dude, I was listening to it, and you guys were talking about it, and make me switch to YouTube to see what you guys were talking about. But we try to do actually a good job to describe what's going on here so you can also listen and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Italo, today, man, I have news. So
what you got?
The Bald Association called me and they said they're going to sponsor the show. You know what I mean? They said we'd be inviting a lot of bald men and sort of thing.
I have a question. On that. Is it true? Because I'm seeing a trend. The people that are bald, they're usually more successful in the real estate world.
Hey,
Do
man.
I need to go bald if I really want to step up my game? Like I'm thinking about just.
You're already getting bald, dude. Since when I met you, look at those big things there.
No,
I see a future,
myself.
dude.
I do that myself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's charming. But I have a surprise for you.
What?
I got something different for today's episode. I got this guy.
Oh, you got a French press there, man.
So stay tuned on that. I'm gonna get this guy ready for us today. I think our guest is gonna like that too.
Let's go. And this is The Real Grind. Let's get started.
Waking up to success. Now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
All right. Do you know when you blame people for when something bad happened, it was like you blame a person? Have you heard that with you?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that like, why did you do that to me when I was 15 years old? Look at what happened today.
Look, man, today I have this next guest is going to come on the stage. I have to blame him for my successes because he's the one that got us into all this that you see. It was this guy. And I met this next guest 22 years ago. 22 years ago. He's been my best friend since. And this next guest, with his frustration with traditional forms of investing, he pivoted to real estate investment. And today, he syndicated over 2,000 apartment units. He's vertically integrated his own management company, founder and CEO of Touro Company. His name is Dante Andrade. Let's go. Jesus Christ,
so exciting
Dante.
to be here. I did not know I was going to get invited. I've been listening and watching all the episodes before, and I was just here wondering, when am I going to get my invite? So,
dude, you're the first one, but before we get started, Dante is my critique, right? I send everything that I'm going to do, I send it out to Dante. Sometimes it comes with some good feedback. Sometimes it pisses me off.
well, I would say most of the time you do not listen to my feedback, and I'm glad you go that way because you're full of great ideas, and the success is all yours. I just did not know I would make the show when I saw, all you need is love and great hair. But hey, if you made it,
Hey,
I'm glad to be here.
Dante, super excited to have you here, man. You're like my brother. I only have a sister, and I think I spent majority of my life being your friend than without you in my life, dude.
That's true.
Think about
Yeah.
that.
Same. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's very powerful that you're in this industry and you inspire me so much. You're being a mentor to me, and no farther to do to just thank you for being here.
No, excited to be here. I know the podcast has been a major success, and just hearing people talking about it and bragging about it, and I just feel proud of you. You've just put this whole production together, and now you got people all over the world listening to it and learning from it. So that's been awesome.
It's been challenging, man, but we just learning so much. But actually, I could not imagine that by doing it, I'll gain the most value myself by listening to the people, by listening to some of the comments, and just people here sharing, man. And that's been very powerful, very inspiring.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I don't think you need to shave your head to be successful in real estate. Italo, do not do that.
Don't do it.
If I had your head of hair, I would not be shaving it. So I'll keep it.
I appreciate it, Dante. I truly appreciate
But
it.
Dante, I can always sit here and just talk about you the whole entire show, man. But I'm gonna, just introduce yourself and your beginnings, where you're from, and so the audience can get to know you.
Sure. Yeah. It's funny that we could full on give each other's introduction. But yeah, I'm originally from Brazil, as people that know me know about that. And I've been in America 23 years now. So I came here, I was 18 years old, and just really chasing the American dream. I had this dream since a kid that I wanted to be in America. I was the first person in my family to, leave the country, and came here just to see what it's all about and improve my English, and thinking about go back and finish college. And within 3 weeks, told my mom, hey, I'm not coming back, and I need money to buy a car. And then so she sent me a little bit of money and bought a beat-up 94 Honda Civic. And that was the last time that I had, my mom helped me financially, and just had to, make it happen in America and chase the American dream. And it's not even about getting to the dream, because the dream keeps on changing, but it's really the chase that's so rewarding and exciting, right? And be able to stop and look back. And I know the path that you've gone through with your family, your parents and your sister and everybody else, and be able to go through that. So that's kind of was the journey. And then all kinds of jobs you can think of, and careers
Tell me
and
example
industries.
one of them, Dante.
From working on a kitchen, washing pots and pans, to telemarketing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, in the kitchen washing, because cooking is not
No,
really
not
your
cooking.
forte.
No. I
Dante.
definitely cannot cook. But imagine.
Telemarketing with that radio voice?
Oh, telemarketing. No, but hang on a second. Go back 20 years ago. I'm still working on my English, but go back 20 years ago when I could barely speak English. You're nice. If you're sitting down with your family, you have a nice family dinner, 7 o'clock at night. Here is a guy that barely speaks English calling you, asking you for your social security number so you can get a new credit application set up for you.
Oh, that is difficult sell.
Hey, it was a different world.
But
Today, you feel like everybody knows about the Nigerian scammers. But back then, people I did good in sales. I hated that job with a passion. Anytime a telemarketer
dude, the
calls
rejection
me,
ratio, it's probably
it
really bad.
prepared me for the rest of my life. So
I'm
you
sure.
become numb to rejection. But I still did well with sales, and I really got out of the job as soon as I could. And just the common theme was always pursuing what's next, and how can I, leverage to the next step, and leverage, and seeing the people that were ahead of me in different stages in life, and learning from them. And it's still the case today.
And it's interesting, Dante, because out of all of our friends, since we were young, man, you're always the one that was the most drive or discipline, business ideas, entrepreneur. You always had your money saved, and when we're young, we're all broke as hell. We not have anything. Dante had all this business and ideas, and he have all this discipline, man. But I met you, Dante, when we were musicians. That's how I met you, and we immediately connected back in church in 2001. So how did the piano started for you?
So piano has always been a big part of my life. I started playing when I was 6 years old. Big influence from church. My family went to a big church with lots of musicians, and I really just since I was 4 or 5, kept asking my parents that I wanted to learn to play the piano. And then my parents saved up, bought a piano, got me lessons. About 2 years into it, I told my mom, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, because my kids or my friends were downstairs playing soccer, and I had to sit down and practice the piano for 30 minutes. Started to hate it, and my mom said, no, you committed that you want us to buy a piano and to learn. And and she's my mom and my parents have been my mentors, and if it wasn't for her, I would not play the piano. Maybe if I didn't play the piano, we would not have met and have the amazing friendship we've had and enjoyed for the past 22 years. And piano has just opened so many doors, and it took me so many places in life that I thank my mom every day for at 6 years old, at 8-year-old, not letting me quit.
Right.
And it was a hobby in Brazil. When I moved to the U.S., I really learned that you in America, you can do well financially doing anything.
Right.
So,
And that's my point. Since, among us, as I mentioned, you're the ones that has the most drive on entrepreneurship, and you made a really successful business out of teaching piano, which we do ask majority of people, like, a piano teacher, right? And talk a little bit about that.
So, I mean, like you mentioned, I've always been passionate about business, right? I mean, family car rides, trips, road trips. My dad is driving, my mom is sleeping, my brother is sleeping. And I was talking to my dad the entire time, just asking about the company he worked for and how it worked. And I knew every single level and what it's going to take for my dad to get a promotion. Always fascinated by business. And whenever there was a kid's birthday party, I was the kid talking to the adults. I'd be hanging out with my dad's friends instead of playing with the other kids. Just fascinating to learn how people did their careers and how they did business. So I approach music, even though it was a passion of mine, and the majority of the artists are known for not making any money and not having any clue about business. And I feel sometimes, a little side note, it's a failure of our education system that don't teach people business skills.
Sure.
But I was lucky to have mentors and to always just be very interested. So I always approach music with a business mindset and a business eye to it. So there were opportunities as I was in college to tour, to take off summer and go tour with a cruise ship company. Or at the same time, I was building an education business in music that was thriving.
Seriously, I didn't know about that. So you're going to go to a cruise ship?
I wanted to. And then I had friends of mine, Lyndon.
Yeah, that's
Owen.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Friend
That
of mine
would
who
be
you
fun.
met, he left and did that. I was dying to have, to do that. But my goal, I had always had a goal that was way ahead of me, in place. And I was like, I can go have so much fun and not have any expenses for 3 months, but then I'll lose all my piano students, right? And I have to rebuild from scratch. So never did that. I've been on many cruises since then.
We actually, it's a fun side note here that we actually did a concert in the cruise ship. You and I, and that was really fun.
That was a dream come true because I always wanted to be at a cruise as a musician, not as a guest. And then when you invited me to be part of your band and to do that, walking in that cruise with
Remember, we were VIP. We were going
VIP
to cut the
entrance,
line.
and everybody's so, can I
Golf
carry this? Can I carry
cart.
this for you? And like everybody, who are they? Who are they? That was a cool experience. But but just always focused in business. Looking at music is like, how can I extract the most financial reward from doing something that I love? And, and worked 7 days a week, had the education business, worked with churches, private parties, weddings, corporate events, played for politicians' events and all that. And
I know that, and probably now, listen about this, because obviously I know the story, but now, the scalability of that business was kind of limited in a certain way because was you fronting all of this, projects you had to play or whatever. So I think your always mindset of growing and scale, did you hit to a point, I bet, that you wanted to do more than that?
100%. And it really came down, and I look back, and it's just mindset plays a big part on all aspects of it, right? So I told myself at that time that business was not scalable. And I talked to mentor of mine, and he's like, no, you really shouldn't try to scale this because of
you was an ESBI. What would you feel in that category?
Yeah, that was definitely an S, right? Yeah. I owned a job, but it could have been scaled. Sure. So today, looking back with the mindset that I've acquired, over the past decade, I would say that business could have scaled and could have gone places. I didn't have the mindset at the time, which it worked out because it pushed me to go look into some other things, right? And I had a limit. Really, people talk about the glass ceiling. So I definitely hit the glass ceiling with how much time I could devote and how much income I could extract from music. It was great income, but if I wasn't working, I wasn't making money, right? So whenever I went on vacation, it was more thinking about how much money am I not gonna make? Yeah. The cost of the vacation was a big deal. It's actually how much
so
money
you're not gonna make
am I not gonna make? So that pushed me into real estate. And
hold your horses, man. I want you to.
I'm excited.
Okay, hold on.
I'm excited to be having this conversation, even though you know all about it. But it's fun to look back and talk about it.
We always, obviously, we change every couple of years and we look back, what we used to like, we don't like anymore. We still didn't like, we like anymore. But for some reason now, talking about all this is kind of bringing me some new perspective of just talking about it, man. It's interesting, actually. It's been very cool. But before that, Dante, guess what time it is?
Coffee time?
It is coffee time.
I know it's a coffee podcast, and I haven't had my coffee yet.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good to see you, as always.
Good to see you too, brother.
How's it going?
What's up, my man?
All right, so I guess
What are we having?
it's like the reverse Oreo. I'm the one with the hair and true podcast.
Are you feeling uncomfortable? Are you
I'm feeling as an outsider. I want to fit in.
Feeling out? Are you not fit in? Wow,
I
Neander.
had
I
the
think we're
episode-
making it a little uncomfortable.
Right?
Should we shave my head like live?
I've had the episode here that I had a mustache, and he was like, "Look at this mustache," and it's like,
Yeah.
"That one you can pull it off."
We're all glad you
Not
shaved
even
that
the mustache.
off.
Can you pull off the mustache?
No, everybody's
Dante,
happy that
okay,
Neander shaved the
There's a
mustache off.
few things.
It's a lot of your followers.
She looked like the emoji, you know, like the mustache emoji.
Look, I'm
Right.
gonna ask you. Please write on the comments. There is YouTube comments for the episode. If you're happy that Neander shaved mustache that was on episodes, I don't know, a few
Oh
weeks
my
ago,
goodness, man.
write on the comment.
Hey, we're supporting, man, supporting. It's interesting because there's a few things that I never seen Dante do is eating meat, and second one is having a beard. Never ever.
You never see me having a beer?
I saw a little bit,
Yeah,
like
I don't
a
think
couple
I've
days
done that.
beard. It's
Not a
not
beer
like the
drinker,
full blood.
yes.
Yeah. No, a
Oh,
beard.
I'm talking a beard. Okay.
Yeah, beard. Sorry, Dante, my English it had a little bit of accent.
Well, we're
I
all working on it.
apologize.
We're all working on it.
Oh man. But right here, man, what I have is something that this guy actually got me because I knew how to brew coffee using this method, but I was talking to Dante and I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, I actually have a French press at home." I was like, "Okay, if he's coming to the show, let me make him some good coffee on a French press."
it is.
You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the cool story about the French press, would you guess when that was created?
I have no idea, dude.
Would you?
I do not know. Mine
So-
was a gift from a common friend of ours.
What I-
So yours is probably 2020.
Yeah, mine is
Is it
2020.
So this is what's cool though. It is French initially. It started in the 1800s, right? So these two designers decided to make it. 1920s come about. They make one here in the U.S. 1950 come these guys and patent his own kind. So this is the latest, I guess, from the 1950s. So as always, make sure you secure what you're doing because otherwise people are gonna come and
Wow.
take it away, you know? But this one in here, it's pretty cool because this is because of you. I decided to do a French press because you're always doing B60.
Yeah.
But the coffee though, tell us about that
This
coffee.
is one
'Cause
of
he
my
brought that one.
finds. I went to Fredericksburg not too long ago, and now we're in the hunt for coffee, baby. Like
But
everywhere you go.
You know where Fredericksburg
Yes,
is,
I've
right?
been there before.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's so cool, man.
It's
It's like a
so-
little German town,
Yeah, it
like in the
is.
middle of Texas.
It's definitely not known for the coffee. It's more known for the winery,
The
and stuff. But
winery.
we always in the hunt for a good coffee shop. So
We've been kicked out from
came
the
at
winery.
I know. Came across this one, and we tried it here. Actually, I have tried it this one before. I never, however, tried it on the French press.
Right.
Which, believe it or not, but the way you brew it, if it was on pour over or espresso or this, you get different tastes out of it.
Absolutely.
Different. It's
You
interesting.
get different notes, depends on the temperature of the coffee
So,
and the method that you
since you're
brew.
the expert, what would you say does the French press does to the coffee that tastes different?
The way, whenever you grind the coffee to make a French press, it's gonna be more on the coarse side of the coffee ground, So it's not gonna be so much, the coffee's not gonna hold the water for so long in the filter before it hits the coffee pot. And here, so if you see, I already pour some for us because it traps the coffee here for a longer time than when you do a pour over. So if I had just poured it over here right now and give it a try, you'll probably burn your tongue, and I don't want that. I want you to actually enjoy the experience of sipping on the coffee right away. So
Another interesting fact is that if you look, go ahead, grab yours. I show you. You can see the
you,
French
sir.
press because it's a metal filter. It's a very thin
it's like a
net.
metal mesh.
You
Yeah.
have a lot of more the oils of the coffee
And this is-
versus the paper filter.
Right, and this is considered like a dirty coffee because if you look at the coffee now, whenever I do a V60, you can put it against the light and it looks like a tea, like a true Texas tea. This one is more like on the dirty water because of the coffee being more coarse whenever you're doing the whole process. So it looks like sometimes some people they do it too fine and you get the coffee ground on your tongue when you're doing a French press. You're not supposed to get that. You're supposed just to get the coffee, and sometimes in the very, very bottom of your cup, you're gonna get a little bit of the residue, the coffee residue in there, but that's it.
Awesome.
All right, let's give this
That's
a
right.
shot.
The smell. Holy shit. Dude,
Oh wow, delicious.
This is so different.
it is. Look, it's almost, you know, the
Ask him. What do you taste on it? Because I this is way more now than
but it's, yeah, very enhanced.
what do you?
Okay, let it, in top of your tongue, let it slide to the side.
Holy crap! This is amazing.
It's a little bit of caramel, cinnamon. That's sort of so I'm feeling.
Okay, imagine this, before you sip it again.
Okay.
You know a strawberry, when it's a little bit not ripe, like it's
Yeah,
greenish,
yep.
sip it now.
No, now that you said that, I'm you know.
Yeah,
This is, dude.
It is fruity. You know, you can
very
tell like
fruity.
yeah, with a
You
little
know,
bit
like
of
a strawberry,
little,
very
strawberry with a
forward,
little bit of
strawberry
citrus
on
on
your
it.
face. It's really
delicious.
cool.
And we had this on the V60, and we were blown away. But now on the French press,
And what kind of where did the coffee come from?
I don't remember.
it's from Fredericksburg. It's called Ranch Road.
Is it Costa Rica?
Costa Rican beans.
Yeah.
Awesome. They have great coffee. So
And again, Danny,
They say brown sugar, mango, strawberry. So good.
Wow.
All right.
very fruity on that. And but I know you for a little bit now, but every time I see you and Neander talking, I get to know you a little like more and more because the stories just keep coming up and you guys keep digging more and more, you know, and it's so funny, man, because like you said, and for me it's so interesting, right? Sometimes our paths in life crosses because of a silly thing. Like you said, if he was a little bratty kid, it's like, no, screw piano, I'm gonna go play soccer. We wouldn't be here.
yeah.
You know?
That's so true.
So small decisions creates that butterfly effect, and that's why it's so important to know what you're doing out there.
That's why those movies sometimes, if you go in the past and change one single thing, it changes the whole, right? Have you seen those things?
Yes.
Because
You
it
kinda
makes total
choose the
sense.
ending and you have that
Absolutely.
option. Yeah.
Absolutely. So before I go, would you like me to pour a little more coffee for you?
Please, I was about to ask.
Okay.
The guests get to have a second.
Wow, now the other guests would be jealous because this usually don't happen.
Right, because-
Italo just runs away and everybody,
No,
man,
no,
I wish
no.
I had more.
On the V60, you don't get to make a whole
actually-
lot.
I didn't have coffee today on purpose because I wanted to savor this moment to just enjoy here
There
with
you
you
go.
all.
Neander, would you like some more?
Yes, please, my
Okay.
man.
And I'll get out of here, let y'all continue the
Sure,
story.
bring this.
I'll give a shout out to our friend Crystal. She's the one that gifted me the French press
Oh, she
years
did?
ago.
She did?
Yeah,
Alright.
and all three of us happen to know her from different
Absolutely.
places,
Crystal Lee.
What's
different
going on?
places in life. So
Hey.
Alrighty.
To
Crystal.
Crystal Lee.
All right, y'all keep at it. Dante, as always, very nice seeing you, my friend.
Italo, great seeing you. Thanks
I'll
for
be
the coffee.
over there.
Appreciate
Yeah, I'll be there on my coffee cove.
it. Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do
Hey
it.
guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started and invest in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/forward the real grind. Let's get back to that interview. Dante.
What's up?
And then Dante, picking up on your story that you did a successful, like you're building six figures out of this piano thing, man. You're making a lot of money.
Definitely did not, it was a different route than most, I would say, piano teachers and musicians, took. It was just really applying business principles that I had acquired from reading books, from, mentors, and from, companies that I worked at before, and applying to the music business with sales and, looking at P&L and things like that. But yeah, it was a very successful. It took a lot of hours, but it was a successful business, and I lived a good life.
And I know at the time too, you have some kind of investments going on the side with some. What kind of investors are they? What are you doing? Like I know you did some stocks, some stuff like that.
Correct. So I, at 20 years old, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and a bunch of other books. Every single book that Robert Kiyosaki wrote, and bunch of other books on financial freedom. And my whole life I've been chasing financial freedom. And I really, at the time, because of the people that I had around me, I thought I could achieve that with, traditional ways of investing with the stock market, and I had a 401k, which I was very proud of putting a lot of money into it, and up to whatever the company was matching. And I got into learning to day trade stocks and swing trade, and really took stopped a semester in college at one time to go day trade full time.
Wow. I remember.
Not something that my mom was very happy about it, but I was charging on my own path and decided that I needed to do that. Then I realized it wasn't for me, and over the years, 2008, 2009, when we had the major financial meltdown here in the U.S., that it cost me a lot of money. But that was all money that I had earned, one piano lesson at a time or one gig at a time, and one Friday, Saturday night, restaurant gig at a time. How many times have we done that together? And all of our friends are hanging out Saturday night and having drinks and enjoying life, and
must
we're
be
there,
very frustrating
and we're there
when you
grinding. So
sacrifice that.
yeah, and then to see that all go away, just because the financial markets were changing completely. So that created frustration. That I was like, okay, it's got to be a better way. Went back to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, all about being business owner and being an investor. And also, he's really big on assets and real estate.
Right.
So that's kind of drove me and pushes like, you know what? Looking, every wealthy person in the US has major real estate holdings, portfolios of real estate. And I just looked at that trend and, and started like, you know what, that's where I need to go.
Even a guy that you might not even think that has nothing of his wealth to do with real estate, they do have it.
Correct.
For diversification. Family offices, all that stuff, because it's solid.
And that's how I said, it's time to get into real estate, and started really small.
So what was your first real estate investment?
I was talking to a friend of mine who did a bunch of house flips, construction, build, anything had to do with construction. He was kind of a jack of all trades, and he was doing some work for a HOA association of condos. And 2011, he told me there is someone that's about to lose their condo because they haven't paid the HOA fee. They owe like $3,000. I know you have some cash. Would you like to buy? I was like, yeah, but how much? He's like, I think we can get it for like $20,000.
Shut up.
So we actually got
How long ago was that?
2011. So yeah, 12 years ago. So we actually got it for $15,000 plus the $3,000 that they owe to the HOA. So I was all in for like 18, spent a couple thousand fixing the place, and I rented it.
It was a condo?
It was a condo, one bedroom.
It was like a multifamily, but they kind of split each apartment. They sell it separately.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
like
they individually did it.
Yeah.
And they were really big in the 80s. So condos were really popular. Then they stopped not being popular because of HOAs and how people just, hate dealing with HOAs and the power trip that people get in. So they feel like they ebb and flow as far as being popular or not. But yeah, that was my first investment property. I was able to lease that unit. And funny fact is, I still own that unit up to today.
I was going to ask it, don't you? But you bought a couple of those, right?
Correct, yeah. So
you still have all of them?
No, I've sold several.
Okay, so you bought it for 18. Okay, let's say 20.
Yeah.
How much is it worth now?
Probably close to 100,000, if about 100,000, I would say. And it has been cash flowing the entire time.
Right, yeah. It's paid off. It's not like you have a debt.
No, I bought it with cash. I never put debt on it. And but it's, what they say with real estate. Real estate, if you buy and you wait, it will always make money.
Always.
Right? Even when people are like, oh, this is the high of the market, it's a hard time to be buying.
Yeah. They'll say, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
And wait, exactly. Yeah, that's the popular saying. So that's proof right there, right? I mean, at the time, really at 15,000, it didn't feel like I was stealing it. That's how much they're worth, like anywhere from 15 to 25,000. Well, 12 years later, I know some of the condos in the same complex have sold for over $100,000.
And did you, at the time, you didn't know yet about multifamily, right? We're just, because I've talked this about a lot here, and it's like people think the path of having a large portfolio of real estate investment is like you buying multiple of those condos or houses and, self-manage and having tenants and stuff. So at that time, did you know anything about multifamily or not at all, or some?
I knew a little bit about multifamily. I had been to, have listened to things, I've read about it. But what made the difference for me at that time was the mindset. The numbers are way too big, right? I was buying a condo that was $15,000, which, I had sitting on my savings. Multifamily, we're talking about 2 million.
Yeah, and then we talk. Now we're getting the debt. You cannot buy cash anymore, right?
Correct.
Or like
Yeah, and then
the debt, raising
then it's
capital,
not having the money, raising
it is
capital.
uncomfortable.
Correct. So it was really mindset. So I didn't have the mindset. I knew about it, but it was just at that time my mindset was like that is way beyond my reach, which really wasn't. No, going fast forward.
What is in between was just the mindset.
It was really just the mindset, 100%. And then it really wasn't if I had just surrounded myself with people that were doing multifamily, that their mindset was comfortable with it. My goodness, I mean, I'll be so much wealthier today had I started with multifamily back in 2011. It would have been the greatest timing ever to do that.
And of course, Dante, being Dante, it'll be like, man, what is next? I gotta scale this, make into a large business.
Yes. So
and
yeah.
how would you find about the multifamily?
So it was,
Or
a few
started?
condos. Then I looked at houses and I started flipping. But I really thought it was like I'll put a few houses and condos together.
Yeah.
But no, it's just being around people that were doing multifamily. So joining the Rock organization that offer mentorship. So I did this back in 2000. I met Brad probably 2011, 12, at the time that I'm like searching which path I was going to take with multifamily, and then join his program. And that put me in an environment of having a lot of people. They're all thinking multifamily, thinking bigger, and being around people that were doing it. So that was the biggest thing. It helped
Proximity
change
is definitely power.
100%.
Because you see those people, and the people, they're always next, steps. Some of them are few steps ahead of you, but some of them, they're really ahead of you. But that you could see yourself like, man, I could do this too, And then, wow, it's really cool. Like that you took that. And Dante, actually, I remember the day that you're going up and signing up for that program, for the mentorship. And I remember you calling me and it's like, man, I'm about to sign up for this and I'm not sure. And you have your scarcity, which is natural from, being out of your comfort zone to, seek something that is bigger than, we think it is. And think it was the right decision?
It was an amazing decision, and I'm forever thankful that the opportunity was there. The Brad took the time to put the program together, and put in so much effort to be able to allow me to be in that environment and learn from so many people. And it's funny that at the time when I was joining Brad's program, it was like $10,000, and I was really struggling because I had just bought a condo for $15,000. So it's like it's the price of actually a full
like
condo.
I could put this in another thing because some people do that, right? It was like I could do this by myself, and
But really looking back, it's just like that one decision helped change my mindset, which allowed me to grow so much more. And I look today at courses, at education, even if you only get one or two things out of it. Did you get maybe, you paid $10,000, $1,000 for a course. And if you're like, oh, that's a lot of money and I could go on a vacation with it. If you get one or two things out of it, even if you don't feel like, okay, it was 6 hours, I only got 15 minutes out of it. Well, if that 15 minutes help you change your mindset in any way that you can be better at your job, at your career, even with your family, with your spouse, with your relationships, it's worth it.
Sometimes even a quote on a book. Maybe the whole entire book, it doesn't do it for you, which, by the way, recently I've been talking about a lot. The book you recommend, and I'm reading it, Dale and I, The Gap in the Game.
Yes.
I'm halfway.
Dan Sullivan. Yeah, one of my mentors also.
So that called investor in ourselves. And that is the biggest and better investment it all is. You know what I'm saying? And then that definitely, man. And Dante, like, talk very briefly, your first multifamily investment, your first, I know that for you it was really out of your comfort zone. And at the time, the raise was not even that much as compared to the raises that you do today. But how was that feeling there?
It was somehow I found a property When I was working, I got into the brokerage business, helping buyers also get into multifamily deals. So I was already doing that before I actually owned a multifamily myself. I had to invest passively, but I was helping people kind of connect with the brokers, and an opportunity came for 75 units, 1968 construction, that was being sold for $3 million. This is in Arlington, Texas. It's about 35,000 a unit. And at the time, same owner for about 15 years.
Same owner.
Same owner, 15 years. He owned it, paid
By
cash.
himself?
By himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he probably bought it, 15 years before
Yeah.
for under $1 million.
It's the same way we're talking about that one. You bought it cash. He probably like the same way, right? Holding all
Correct.
this
Yeah.
time
He
and
just
be like,
bought
yeah.
it. He had the money and did that. But he was definitely a slumlord, that we call it.
Yep.
Did not, just suck all the money out of the property. Did not run it as a business. He was in the office every day for a few hours.
you serious?
Yeah. Then whenever rent was due, he was the one there collecting. So really did not approach it as a business, and I just saw opportunity. That property was sitting on a major street in Arlington in front of elementary school, catty corner with a hospital, with a lot of employment centers around, and I just saw that one. I was like, this is it,
Yeah.
right? I'm make this story short. It took 9 months to close that deal. It was the most complicated transaction I've ever worked up to this day in my life. The owner had a bunch. There was restrictions from the states. There was a lure involved. He was in default. I had to go down to Austin to sit in a board. So here's the guy buying his first multifamily. I went to meet with the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs and present to them how I'm gonna turn this property around. But I just had so much conviction that that deal was gonna be a home run for me and for my investors that I stuck with it. I remember talking to Brad, my mentor at the time, and he's like, "Well, maybe this should not be your first deal. It seems really complicated and out of the box,
So it's
out
like,
of the model."
You
know?
went through that one. You ready to go through any kind of situation, dude.
And well-
That is crazy.
And it really prepared me because of the work that I was doing on the brokerage side, consulting and helping people go through tough deals. I had gone through the toughest one, 9 months under contract, by putting in all my awaken hours when I was not teaching piano, doing that.
And probably was already hard money involved, or that time wasn't that thing. It wasn't a thing.
At that time, no, we didn't have any hard money involved.
Okay.
But I was fearful the seller would give up and say, I'm not going to sell anymore
Yeah, you
because I was
lose all
seeing the
those
opportunity.
hours.
Right.
Yeah, you
I was
lose
buying it for, 30, 40,000 a door with the rehab. And I'm seeing this is going to turn out, this is going to be a great payoff. And getting the loan was very complicated. Everything about that deal was complicated, right? And
So long story short, so what was the return of investment for the investors at that deal? Because I know it was a big home run because they had a lot of meat in the bone. And I remember, dude, you were there constantly at the property.
Correct.
Involved in renovations, and you save a lot of money. And I know that was a big deal for you.
I had a manager, which we put in professional management in place, and she joked she was going to get me a unit because I was there so much. I was there 4 or 5 times a week, overseeing rehab and and learning. But it was a great learning experience.
Funny would be
going
like
through that.
the property, it's renovating, and the Dante's apartment is all decked out, right?
Yeah. I never got a unit there, but we sold, and I should have checked my numbers. Sold that property 2.5 years later. For
That's it. They hold those 2.5 years.
they hold those 2.5 years, and we sold for double what we paid for when we bought it. The return for the investors, I think, was about 160% return, so like a 2.6 equity multiple at that property. So I forgot the IRR and all the other numbers. I should have checked my numbers, but it was a great home run, and everybody was happy, and it just paid off. And that field, it was the biggest check at the time that I got in my life. Also, when that deal closed. And I was like, I can't believe this, So really, it was selling the property, going full cycle with your first one. Like it's always the first one when you buy, and the first one you do this, but going full cycle with the first one, putting together pro forma, promising something to investors, and then over delivering on that is such a rewarding feeling. that and at the time we have the bank say, oh, when are we going to do another one, right? So
Right.
everybody starts really believing in you and just ready to support you even further.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And moving forward now, over 2,000 units syndicated after that, and including that one. But man, that's great. So talk a little bit. What is Touro Company is all about today?
So Touro Company is, I mean, we're kind of touching every single area of real estate, but the mission is really trying to find real estate opportunities and deliver great results, not only for the investors, but for the tenants. We really care about the people that live in our properties. I was talking to my team the other day. I asked on a meeting, how many people do you think live at our properties, right? And everybody threw a number. The biggest number we got, it was like, 3,000. I was like, we have over 8,000 people living at our properties.
That is
8,000 people is a small city, right?
Yeah.
So
The city that my mom lives now is 6,000 people.
there you
dude,
go.
and it's like
So we're responsible for housing 8,000 members of our society, of our county, right? So we take it very seriously that that customer service is a high priority for us. Having people that understand the tenants. A lot of our employees live on site, so they're like one of the tenants. Also, they live across different properties. We offer them a discount if they want to live on site, because it's important for them to understand what it feels like to live here. It's not a place that you go in and work, or if you also live there, right, you're gonna come up with a better suggestion of doing something or helping do something. I lived in apartments for many years. I mean, we were neighbors at
We're
apartments
neighbors,
in Louisville,
man.
Texas for many years. So just coming from that perspective, not something that you put your money, you expect a return, but how can you maximize the return to the investors, to the company, but also to the tenants, that the tenants are proud of it, that the tenants are happy to live there and say, wow, I love my community. They want to refer more friends and families to come live there. So we focus on those three things, taking care of our people, our team, taking care of our tenants, and taking care of our investors. And that's kind of the core values that we work towards. And it was a few years ago that I was really on a ski trip with a few owners of thousands and thousands. Someone that was there with 65,000 units, someone with 35,000 units, and learning from those guys while we're skiing and and enjoying life. And really, I made the decision to set up the property management company and bring the property management in-house. So that was a big learning experience. I went from having 2 employees to today having over 50 employees.
Wow.
And building the team. And there was a lot of, waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. every day to be able to put that in place. And it's still a learning experience, right? We are just over 2 years into having the property management company, and it's been it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, that's great, man. And I think that's definitely the key to success. When you think about, the always knowing the scalability, and where's the future of Touro Properties, man? Where you see yourself going with the.
Well, the future is just continue growing and escalating what we've been doing so far. We had really big acquisitions goals last year, and they didn't come through. The market shifted on the acquisition side of things, but we are taking the time because we had the infrastructure to manage a lot more units than we're managing right now. So we're taking the time with the team to look inwards and just fine-tune all of our process. So all the properties are running better. We're running at every expense line, at every line, and we're just really getting ready for opportunities that are gonna come because we're gonna be running this property so much better because we're investing all that time and effort into making the ones we have better than they could be had we added more to the portfolio. So we're looking to acquire more and to grow the company, and just keep adding. We just brought the accounting in-house, have an amazing accounting team. We have overseas employees helping us, in different countries, and it's been fun, and we're looking forward to the growth.
I've been asking him to manage our properties, man, but he's like,
We're not there yet. Well, maybe one day, but we're not there yet. We're fine tuning the process with own properties, and that's something that we may consider in the future.
Dante,
also.
super proud of you, man. I feel like the younger brother that saw all your growth step by step and where you are today, man. Super proud and very, very inspiring. And I just want to say thank you for being my mentor, man, because your story itself inspired me. Plus, aside from, you helped us, in the industry as well, man, just being a great friend and a great mentor for me and that and I, dude.
It's the best thing ever to have, my best friend and my brother join me in the industry, right?
So we can talk shop sometimes on the phone,
But we were musicians together, and then I pivoted out of that, and I didn't have it as a fun life as a musician as you did, traveling the world and playing in all continents.
You did a little
Europe.
bit, man. We just said we played on a cruise.
Well, that was a one time
man.
for me. You did it over and over and over, and I was at times looking at your life and being really jealous from it. It's like, wow, having you, and then when Daniel came into your life and you guys were traveling together and just having so much fun from trip to trip to trip, and I'm like, working 7 days a week, so it was hard to keep the focus. But I had really strong goals that I had defined at an early age, and I want to stick with them, and it's funny to see.
And guess what? Now I'm jealous of you because you fucking been like traveling all over. I called Dante. It's like, Dante, can you come to the podcast? Well, I don't know because I'm thinking I'm going to Italy. You said
I was gonna go to Spain.
Spain. I was like, okay. Oh, and then I call him later. Dante, are you going to Spain? No, I'll go next week. So it's natural now. Now I am.
Waves crashing behind because he's at the beach.
Absolutely. So it's been hard. Dante is my best friend, but I told him, I joked last year because when we were approaching the end of the year, I was like, man, I get to see you like probably, we live in the same city. I get to see you probably like 3 or 4 times a year in person.
No, you're exaggerating. We see each other more than that. But it's been fun to be able now to be in a place in life to enjoy the trips.
Absolutely.
And, and enjoy those things. And but also have, my close friends coming up to the next level and enjoying life too, and elevating themselves and learning and growing their businesses, and to be able to talk business together and growth together. How many things in my business have you helped me with, and you inspired me to do it too? So it's a win-win when we all elevate each other together.
Absolutely, man. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, like I blame you for some of my successes, So Dante, this part of the show that we're gonna do, the spilling the beans with Dante, we just wanna. I know a lot about you, man. I know all those questions. I can pick it for you, but the
I've been
audience is
looking
going
forward
to
to this. I'm really curious.
Grand piano or upright piano?
Oh, that's an easy one. Grand piano all the way. 9-footer.
The 9-footer. Okay, Michael Bublé or Lionel Richie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like both. Lionel Richie for sure.
All right. Brisket burger or Impossible burger?
Oh, come on. That's an easy one. I don't even know what a brisket looks like or tastes like, so I'll go with an Impossible burger.
It's a lot better than Impossible burger, that's for sure.
I doubt it. Impossible burger, sure.
Pitch roofs or flat roofs?
Oh, pitch roofs. I've made a lot of money with flat roofs, but I've graduated to pitch roofs now.
Buyer broker or seller broker?
Ooh, that's a tough one too. Man, I would say buy a broker. Buy a broker. My dear friends, that are listing brokers, they grind also so much, and it's so competitive. So I enjoy the buy a broker. So less pressure.
All right. Tour property management or third party?
Oh, Touro Property Management all the way. Yes.
I've been trying to get them too. Wakeboarding on Lake Louisville or skiing in Colorado?
Ooh. Why are you doing that to me? I knew there would be a question like that I can't answer. I'll go with skiing in Colorado if I have to pick one, but it's just like summer I'm looking forward to winter I'm looking forward to summer, and it's great to have both in my life.
And final last question, Dante. Thailand or Colombia?
Two of my favorite countries in the world. Colombia the way.
Colombia.
Yes.
¿Qué pasó? All right, that was Spilling the Beans with Dante.
That was fun.
Dante, once again, man, super proud of you. Congratulations on all your success, dude. You're inspired me the most and a lot of our close friends, and we're super proud of you, man. And thank you for always being a giving guy to, make sure you take other people there where you are and such. So I appreciate that, man.
Well, thank you. It's not fun to to go up levels by yourself. You want all your friends to come along too. So it's fun to share and to have friends take on it, right? And join you for the journey. So.
And Dante, the last question is, I want to ask you, like, if you could talk to yourself back then when you're getting started in this, like, what would you have to say? Look at the camera and said, "Hey, Dante."
Hey, Dante, I would say two things. One, set a goal and go after it. Don't overthink the goal, because on your way to reaching that goal, you're probably going to learn some other things. It's like a video game, like new phases open up when you reach a certain phase, and you see things that you don't see right now, right? You see things that you don't see before. The life that I'm living right now, the things that I know now, I was completely blinded to them 10 years ago, right? So, and also mindset is more important than the technical side of things. You can have all the technical knowledge, you can read all the books, know all the mechanics. Mindset trumps mechanics, because without the mindset, you're just not gonna act or do anything with that. And I felt like, had I surrounded myself earlier in my career with people that helped me with mindset, I would have been buying multifamily back in 2011, and just would be at a whole nother place in life today. But it took me a while to just get the right mindset.
It's powerful, man. Thank you so much for coming to the show, man.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
Happy
it.
to be here. Thanks for inviting me. And I did not take offense about great hair, and all you need is love and great hair.
And because Dante criticized our song, the Real Grind song, let's play it for him, the Real Grind song.
I did not criticize.
As the end of the show. Thank you very much.
I didn't.
Everything you've been wanting.
And as always, thank you so much for watching The Real Grind. Remember, it's always great to surround yourself by the real grinders. Look at that story. These people want to leverage you. They want to bring you with them. So remember, help us out. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Find us on YouTube, Facebook to watch the live episodes. Go to the all the platforms, the podcast platforms to listen to the episodes if you're at the gym, if you're driving your car, all these good things. Remember, give these guys a follow. This was one of the best coffees I've tried here so far. Give it a shot. You're not gonna regret. If you really like the French press, the link is on our page on our website. Don't miss that out. This is an amazing way to do it. I'm gonna teach you how to make that on our website as well on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much. This is The Real Grind.
Waking up to success, now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee, the real grind.